Hello and welcome back to another edition, I guess you'd call it, of Victoria's Farmhouse. Today I'm going to be doing several different things because there are a lot of things that I need to do before I can, like assemble walls, assemble part of the house. And so the first thing I'm going to be doing is I changed the stairs. I found an old set of stairs that was hanging around because the ones in the farmhouse, I don't know, they just weren't doing it for me. So I decided that I was going to change it up a little bit and use these old stairs. Now these stairs, I left this part because it's not going to be visible. They were water damaged. So I decided to use them anyway because it didn't really look too bad when I got them done like I wanted them to. I had to, these were a manufactured stair for dollhouses and they did not fit into the stair opening like I wanted them to, so I did attach the, I believe you call it the stringer, to the stairs. And then I went ahead and I did what I originally wanted to do, which was stain the top stairs, or the top of the stairs, and then paint white. Now I'm using an off-white called Antique Parchment for my walls in there because I wanted it light and airy and happy. The stain did not take on the stairs. This is not glue. They were sanded before I stained, and so I'm not sure what happened, but they did not take the stain. Probably these stairs have been around at least 20 years, just sitting around in boxes in my garage, so heaven knows. But they did not take the stain, which is fine because my house is a Victorian house, Victorian farmhouse, that is being, as the people get the time and the money, renovated, brought up to date. Some things are being left like they were, and so the stairs will have a stair runner on them. So I'm not worried about these spots at all because you'll never see them. But what I wanted to do with them today is the spot under the stairs in that house is causing me a little bit of a dilemma. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do under there. I thought of enclosing it and making a closet, but then I'm wasting so much space since I'm using the, I take it it's supposed to be the kitchen in the house. I'm using that for the living room. So I decided at this point, because I'm great at changing my mind, I decided that I would make a little thing to enclose part of the stairs. And the reason I painted that in the back of the stairs dark brown is because I will be running wood up the back so that it kind of looks like shiplap, but not white. I don't want white. I was going to do everything with white trim and all that until I started doing the bay window for the dining room. And then I decided to go ahead with a more reddish color, which I really like. I just don't know. Anyway, we'll see where this goes, but the first thing I'm going to be doing with you today is gluing this piece on. It'll never show, so we're good there. The stairs, as you can see, have some cracking in them where it's separated. I did glue it, but this also will be covered up, so we won't even notice that when we're done. So let's get this glued on because this is a boring part of this, and I'll show you what I've done with my bay. If I can get my wood glue open, of course. I guess I wouldn't have to use wood glue. We'll just... Did I not bring my tacky glue? I'll be right back. Alright, well that was not good. I thought I brought it in. I have my old one, but it doesn't have much glue left. So, let's get this glued on. And it will be glued to the side of the stairs. And I've kind of angled this little side here so that it would fit up against the stairs pretty good. Use a liberal amount because I want this to hold, and I know it will. And I mean, this is just a very basic structure. Not my best build or anything, but I knew it wouldn't be seen. So let's get that on there, get it all lined up even. Make sure I have it right at the bottom and right at the sides. And when I was cutting this, I guess I didn't realize that I had to, this bottom part, I thought, oh, I'll just make it. No, you have to angle it up so that it fits the angle of the stairs, but I wasn't thinking about that when I did it. So it was kind of tricky getting that angle on there, but it did work. And it's kind of a bit of a trick, but not too bad. So we're going to tape this so that it holds and so that it stays exactly where I want it. And I didn't get that tape on there very good, did I? I didn't. Oh well, it'll hold. I just need it to hold where I want it. So let's go around the bottom one. I think that'll do it because this fits pretty snugly. Let's push it up a little bit. I saw that my bottom wasn't quite flush with the bottom of the stairs. And that is something I don't want to have to deal with. So we'll stand it up and everything is looking good. So we're just going to put that aside to dry, and we're probably not going, uh-oh. And then I get my thumb up there and look what I do. So we're definitely going to also be putting some tape up here, so I don't make that crazy mistake again. I think we'll attach it to the stair part first and just bring it over to hold it nice and firm. There we go. All right, don't touch. Note to self, don't touch. All right, and we're just going to lay that aside to dry for now. So the next part, I am really pretty much excited about because, guys, I'm learning the process of building. My brother is amazing at it, me not so much. But I'm pretty excited because I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. It's like, wow, did I do that? Sorry. I've also found, excuse me, and I don't know if the rest of you have this going on or not, but I can measure and measure and measure. And when I go to cut, I'm always off. I can square it up. I can do everything right. And I'm off. So, but if I eyeball it, somehow that works. Don't ask me. I don't know. Anyway, I created this, since this was a Victorian farmhouse and the people who are living there did decide to leave some of the Victorian elements, I have created, and I will move the camera here for you. I'm going to have it at a slight angle because I need to be able to see this and work with it. And it's not perfect by a long shot, but it started being much better after I started eyeballing it. So let me move the camera if I can. Oh, this is tight. Okay, there's my window seat for this house. And I put a carving in the middle of it. And the carving is simply air dry clay that I put into a mold and then put the stain over the top, and it took it perfectly. And this is good because I want some really cool carvings on my Beacon Hill. So I know, because it is going to be done in the Victorian era. So now I know that you can stain air dry clay. Nothing happens to it. It's just, these are very, very deep. So I had to just kind of let the stain just pool on the clay. But it came out very hard. And I was afraid it might fall apart, but it didn't. So yeah, there's my carving. My Victorian carving that's being left. And then I just went ahead and sealed the whole thing. But this is my window seat, and I'm really kind of proud of it because, yeah, I'm not really a builder. I'm learning, but I'm not really a builder. So Anyway, what we're going to do right now is we are going to upholster this. And a lot of times on my doll houses, one thing will spur my imagination to use certain color schemes. And I thought about doing modern farmhouse, and I thought, no, that looks going to fade sooner or later. I thought that, I don't know, I had different colors in mind. I was going to do it more 50s style, but that wasn't working. Not really. So I decided, okay, farmhouse that someone moved into. They're updating parts of it, they're leaving other parts, and hopefully when I'm done, it'll be a nice blend of all of them together. So this material, I was going through my material looking for small prints. This material right here prompted me that my kitchen will be blue and yellow. No glaring, wild, vibrant yellow, but blue and yellow. So I just dearly love this fabric, and I've had it for quite a while. So this is what we're going to cover the window seat in. And I have some wool batting, or part wool anyway, and I have the piece I cut out for the seat. Now this is in no way completely even. That's not even a thing here. So let's get the batting cut, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and the batting isn't quite long enough, but the nice part about the wool blend or wool or whatever it is, you can stretch it a little bit. And one thing I'm going to do is cut off these sharp corners. I don't care for them, and I don't want to deal with them. So I'm just going to make just a slightly rounded corner. Can you see that? On both sides. And since I'm freehanding it, I'm sure it won't be even, but it will serve my purpose. Alright, that's better. Also on this, I left this little edge, and this will not have batting because it will slide under the window frame. As you can see, it's pretty close. But I've seen others who've done the window seat, and they ended up with the same thing. Their pad kind of came up over the bottom of the window frames. I'm not worried about that. I'm good with it. Because it is on a miniature scale, I am positive it's not really going to show. So, alright, so I need to cut my piece of wool batting, and I may have to stretch it just a little. I don't want it too thick anyway. That's a nice part. Once you're gluing it down, you can stretch it a bit. So let's get going on this. Alright. I don't want to mark it because I really have no good way to mark it. So I'm just going to hold it as tight as I can and start cutting. And I'm cutting it right to the edges of where I want it. This isn't going to show, it's going to be covered. So I think we'll be okay. And it is on its own as I cut it, stretching some, so. If it fails me, I will just go get another piece. I thought I'd cut it plenty big. I think we're going to be all right. So rough cut to get my pieces. And I'm using 2. So I want some padding on it. I just don't want it too thick. Oops. Little fuzzies. Okay, so I need to trim off this little bit here. It's not even. And it's kind of hard to cut when it's doubled. Okay, and then I know I need to cut a little piece off of that edge. So we're just going to eyeball it, since I seem to have better luck with that. Alright, let's see where we're at. I'm going to get out the tacky glue again. And the seat will be glued in, so I am not going to worry about the underside of this poster board. I could paint it or whatever I wanted to do, but I'm just not too worried about it. I'm just getting enough glue down to tack my wool stuff on, and because I may have to stretch it just a bit. Let's put it right up there. I'll see, I'm not quite to the edge, but that's fine. We're good with that. And then we'll just cut off all the excess that we don't need. There is a lot on this house that is best done before you really put the house together. There are spots that are just, this spot is accessible from the side bay that opens. However, I was not sure I could get the seat in evenly or anything like that if I went through that. I was afraid of something becoming crazy crooked. And so I did it first. And I know they say this bay is a bugger to get on, but we'll deal with that when we get there. All right, now I'm just glued and I'm pushing the second piece of batting onto the first. So we have, oops, a little thickness there. You know what? I just realized you're tilted to where, there we go. That's a little better. If I come this way. All right, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard. I don't have my camera in its usual position because you wouldn't be able to see anything. You'd be looking down and so, all right, there. I've trimmed it up as good as I'm gonna trim it. It's all ready to go. Let's get our fabric. Now, I'm gonna just eyeball this. Pressed it, but it's been folded in a box, so it's a little, got a few little wrinkles, but we're gonna use the side that doesn't have them. I'm not gonna worry about the grain, I don't think, on this, although the grain goes that way, so maybe we'll worry about the grain. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me on this because it's just a seat, and I think I am, do I want to trace? No, I'm scared the pencil will come through. We're just going to eyeball this cut too, and I'm just leaving enough that I can pull it over the sides and the front and the back and make, hopefully make a nice looking little seat. Oh, I need to move this camera down. There we go. That works. So we're just going to set that back for a minute, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut, and I'm going to leave about a ½ inch. I can always cut off, but I can't put on more. And by all means, if you want, measure yours out. You do it your way, because there is no right and no wrong. Your miniatures, you do them your way. Now, I know that I'm going to be cutting this down, but I wanted plenty of material to work with. So, there we are, and I think probably the first thing I'm going to do on this project is I'm going to put a line of glue, whoops, wrong tacky glue. I'm going to put a line of glue along this line that I left back here that I know is going to tuck in, because I don't want to try to tuck the bulk in. So I'm just going to put a line of glue back here on that. And I'm going to, oh, I didn't even cut that angle. Well, there we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down on here, get it kind of centered, and I'm going to press that side onto the glue, and then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to smooth it with my fingers so that I know there's no wrinkles, no lumps, no bumps, nothing like that. And I'm just going to let that dry for a little bit. Let's get it nice and pressed, and then I'm going to take, and I think we're good because tacky glue does grab fabric rather well, and I did not want to use, like, I've got Fabrifix, but see, I need to move it just a bit. So, staying on my same glue line, hopefully. I think we're going to have to add more. I had it over too far in the material. So let's do this again. And you know, guys, sometimes we end up doing that. Sometimes we think we got it, and then we realize we don't. So I'm going to move it over a bit. Just trying to stay on that same glue line. There we go, pressing it in. Flip it over and press it. Smooth out any wrinkles. There we go, that looks good. And then I'm just going to take this back and I'm going to fold it over. Now I want to consider my corners. We cut that. I want to consider my corners because I don't want a lot of bulk back there. So I think for that, I am probably going to, I don't want a lot of bulk on the whole project. So I think I'm just going to take and I'm going to go at an angle. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. This is just what I'm doing. But I want to try to make the nicest, smoothest corner I possibly can. I don't want the bulk. And I'm just going to carefully lay the fabric over the corners to start. And I'm trying to angle them in so that it's a nice angle. Is that a good way to put it? I don't know, guys. And now I'm just going to bring this up. It's just kind of like if you do journals or any kind of paper crafting. It's just like making kind of a mitered corner, at least on this end, this side. So I'm going to put down some glue and into my corner. I know you probably can't see with that big old glue bottle in the way. I have just laid a line of glue, and you might not be able to see that either. And then I'm going to pull it up nice and tight, like a mitered corner. Because, as I said, I want nice corners on this, especially since it's going to lay underneath the window frame, that part of it. The rest of it will be above it. It's not going to be an overly padded little seat, but it's going to be enough. You can see there's give when I push on it. So, all right, now my dilemma on this, because this is not being angled, going to turn nicely. So I think what I'm going to do is where I pulled it up, I creased it with my fingers. I think I'm just going to chop that open. And kind of every time I do this ends up different. And I'm just going to lay that down like so. I just laid it against there, and then I'm just going to bring this side over. Being it's angled, I can do that. But we have the front curves I just did to deal with. Let me get this side first pulled up like I want it. Can crease it a little. Cut into my crease. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm saying this right now is my way to do it. And I think that is laying pretty well. So, all right, what to do about the front? Now, I don't want to pull it tight because I want the padding. I want it to look padded. But I have these corners to deal with. Now, normally on an inside corner, I would be doing my clipping that I showed in my one video. But I am not going to on this one. But first I know I have to cut off this length of fabric. Okay, and I'm definitely going to chop a little. I'm going to just angle the corners on my fabric on this for now. This may all change. Kind of one of those subject to change without notice deals, you know, like you get on ads and offers. Okay, so I need to cut a little off this corner. It's going to give me some bulk I don't want. And so I will do the same for this one. Just snip those corners. Whoops. Take my wax paper with me. Yeah. All right. So I think that I might possibly be able to do these corners exactly the same. I do not want to pull. That's the one thing I don't want to do. And now I'm wondering, did I cut them too short? But I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to put glue in each of the corners. And I'm just going to pull this up like so. don't want to pull it tight. I want that padding to, I want it to look padded. I haven't decided how else I'm going to trim this out yet, but I know that we need to put curtains up yet before I put it in. I want everything done, and then I do have crown molding I will be putting around the top. So that is that. And I think on this one, check these corners. Yeah, they're going to be another thickness I don't want. I'm trying to let the glue dry here a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold the sides in. So I'm going to glue this side. Give myself enough glue that it'll grab everything. Sorry again for the glue bottle being in the way. Make sure it's not too tightly pulled. Back it off just a little bit because I want that padding. And I'm going to do the other side. I'm also going to put some pillows up here because I want this to be like a really cozy little corner. Yes, it's going to be in the dining room, but I want it to look nice and cozy for my family who's going to live here. Okay. Yep, that seems pretty good. We still have the padded effect. And now for putting this part on. Not pulling this part at all. I need to just snip a corner there. Just a tiny bit. We're going to snip this corner. Because I've already folded the other over, I do have a tiny bit of bulk there. And I want this to lay nicely. So, I think we're just going to go ahead and put the glue on. Glue it all the way across. I've left myself plenty of fabric. Make sure we get those corners. Okay, so I'm just going to start turning it carefully, very carefully, because, oops, I think we'll start at the middle. It's not working so well the other way. Oh, it happens. Okay. Just pull it so it's not tight, but that it's covering everything it needs to. Get the corner down. That's not too bad when the only bulk you have is just in the little corners because they can be trimmed. You can always trim it a little bit if you need to. There, I have my little seat. Now, the moment of truth happens. Where's my glue lid? Oh no. Oh wait. Smartly I put it back. Alright, so let's tip the camera up just a bit. So you can see the seat. And here's our little cushion that we made. Let's see how this looks. So by making that part there, I should be able to slide it right in underneath of there. I want to bring it forward a little bit because I don't want that edge showing. But you can see, I hope you can see that by pushing it down, we still have some padding showing. Well, let's glue it in. All right. Well, if we can get it out, let's glue it in. Okay, so I'm just going to be putting the glue right on the bottom of the seat. I'm thinking of lace just like a valance up there and not actual curtains. I think that'll be cute. I just have to go through my laces and see if I have anything that'll work, and probably find that I don't. So I'm just laying glue down just kind of haphazard because it is going to hold. I've glued around the edges of my material. And slide it just so that it covers my edge, just like that. So there we go. Yes, you can see the corners a little bit, but I really think as sharp as those corners were, mitering them was not going to be the thing to do. Or, you know, trying to make mitered corners on those sharp points wasn't going to do. So I think we're going to go with this. I'm really happy with it. I love the way it works out. This material is perfect. It goes well with the stain I used. It goes really well with the paint I've used. And hopefully when I tie it into the rest, it'll go well with that too. So here we are. Little window seat done. Next up, I think I'll search for lace, and if I don't have any suitable, I will have to buy some. We'll put up the valances and the crown molding, and then it can be glued into the farmhouse because it'll be done. So there we are. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I didn't bore you too bad. I hope you all have a great weekend. She'll be seeing this video on Thursday. And I want to thank you all so very much. I have a new subscriber. Welcome. I would hope that maybe all of you that are just passing by and happen to see my videos would hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And I will also be bringing you updates on Grandma's house like I did in the last video. I think I'm gonna work on the kitchen until it's done for now, because we all know miniatures are never done. There's always something. So that will be updated, and we will be working on Victoria's Farmhouse as our main videos, our main time together. And I may go off and do a video here and there, but of something else, but primarily we're going to be working on Victoria's Farmhouse and doing some more stuff to Grandma's house. And her kitchen is shaping up. It's pretty cute. It's getting there. I made some little canisters yesterday, and I set them on that little shelf above her stove for those of you who are following. And of course I waxed them in already. I'm just going to show you the flower one that I did. It turned out super duper cute, but it is super duper tiny. And it was so easy. And I used junk. Junk I didn't know what I was going to do with. And I made a flour, sugar, and tea. So there's a set of 3 of them. And if anyone's interested, I can do a video on that. There it is. Grandma's little flower canister. Alright, well, we are to, I believe, the end of our video here and our time together. And once again, thank you all for joining me. I do appreciate each and every one of you so much. I just wanted to let you know. And I thank you again for joining me today. Bye-bye.